Hello, welcome to the Hosting and Cloud Transformation Summit. I'm John Abbott, 451 Research. I'm the co-founder and one of the analysts here. And we're here in Las Vegas. I'm here with Dan Cordingley, who's the CEO and one of the founders, or the founder, I think, of Teradici. So Dan, thanks for coming, and wondered if you could just remind us about Teradici. I think you've been around for 12 to 14 years or so.
Sure, yeah, just about 12 years. So. Thanks, John, and I'm really happy to be here at the event and talking to you this afternoon. So Teradici, for those of you who don't know, we are a software company that has developed a technology we branded PC over IP.
Right.
And it's a remote display technology where you can move an application or an entire Windows or Linux desktop into the data center or into the cloud and deliver a user experience out to mobile devices, laptops, thin clients, zero clients, with really a stunning user experience. And the way we've architected it, it's also very secure at the same time. And so we're well known for some of our workstation partners who embed our technology in their workstations when people want to put them back in the data center. So folks like HP, right. Dell. We're also well known for a very large market we work together with VMware on. So VMware's Horizon VDI product, which is really the leading VDI product out there today. PC over IP is embedded in Horizon and really delivers that rich user experience for VMware customers. We're also really well known for our relationship with Amazon Web Services.
Right.
A few years ago, Amazon Web Services announced Amazon Workspaces, which is a phenomenal corporate desktop that they can deliver out of their cloud, so Windows desktop. Performance is fantastic. You don't have to deal with any of the complexity of building your own VDI infrastructure. If you're already moving workloads to the Amazon cloud, Workspaces is a great complement.
Right.
I use it as my standard corporate desktop, and it works awesome. So yeah, we're really well known in the VDI and DAS space through our PC over IP technology.
And some of that technology is actually embedded in some the infrastructure at the moment. Thin clients. And
it is. That's another thing that we've done over the years. We've worked with folks like Samsung, LG, Dell, and HP, where they embed our endpoint technology.
Right.
Into monitors or thin client devices.
Right.
And we even have one company, NCST, who's built a zero client laptop.
Right.
That's getting a lot of success in high security verticals. And
right.
so yeah, it's really both working with the cloud folks like Amazon, as well as VDI on premises and endpoint folks.
So let's talk about Teradici Cloud Access software, and I think that's something you've announced this week. So can you tell me, is this a brand new product, a new departure for Teradici, and how does it differ from what you've had before?
Yeah, it's really exciting for us. And so Cloud Access software, we just announced it yesterday, and again, we've worked with a lot of customers, a lot of partners on VDI and more DAS out of the cloud. And we had a lot of enterprise customers coming to us, ISVs, service providers, who said, I want to move these rich client applications into the cloud. So these are typically one of two forms. It's either an enterprise application that the enterprise has developed over the years. So they've invested a lot of development, a lot of IP. It's how they're maybe delivering their service to their customers.
Right.
And so, yet they want to unlock the power of the public cloud. And the question is, how do I move these applications, which are very user-based, rich interactivity, maybe holding a lot of data, a lot of data that needs to be secured. How do I move them into the cloud? Or I have a rich ISV app, maybe Adobe or Autodesk or something that has rich graphics. I'd really love to run that in the cloud. So what we announced yesterday, our Cloud Access software, is really taking what we've traditionally OEM to our big customers like VMware and Amazon, and really putting it in a package now where an enterprise, a service provider, an ISV can take that software, load it onto an instance in the public cloud, and now deliver that very same client-based app with all the rich fidelity and security that they really need when they move to the cloud.
Okay.
So it is. You're absolutely right. It's a departure for us in terms of now being able to offer enterprises directly something that they can use in their cloud migration, in their cloud journey. Yeah.
So how does PC over IP actually fit into that picture then? It's clearly important, and as you said, Amazon and VMware are both users of it. How does it fit in with cloud access software?
Yeah, so the core technology we've developed and are continuing to evolve is PC over IP technology. So this is a protocol we've developed, and really it's got some fundamental advantages when you want to remote a rich graphical user experience for a PC, a Windows desktop or a Linux desktop or an application.
Right.
And so the way the software works is it sits on the virtual machine in the cloud, and as the pixels are being generated, it analyzes the pixels in real time.
Right.
And really what we're doing is applying a lot of different types of algorithms to those pixels, depending on what the image type is. So if there's a window of video, we can segment that and apply certain algorithms to compress and transmit that. If it's hard-edge graphics, lossless text, or there's about 7 or 8 different types of things we look for and optimize around. We then move that over the network to whatever the user happens to be looking at. So this could be a tablet, this could be a laptop, this could be a zero client or a thin client. And then the endpoint is really a decoder.
Right.
And so that makes it fundamentally very secure, because no data is ever leaving the cloud or the data center.
Right.
We're just transmitting compressed and encrypted pixels. We also handle things like USB and audio in a similar fashion. And so why companies love using it is because it lets the application reside totally in the data center. It really is taking your existing application and just moving it, and then applying our software to deliver it with that rich fidelity. But also, and I think in the session earlier today, or the sessions from Michelle and William here at the 451 conference, one of the things that customers are most concerned about when they move to the cloud, of course, is security.
Right.
So we think the fundamental architecture of our software really meets that head on and says, look, all those endpoint devices your users are now going to use when you've shifted to the cloud, they actually don't have any data on them, and they're super secure.
Right.
So that's sort of how the technology really is the foundation of our cloud access
So you've
software.
highlighted security and the fact that you can have these cloud applications in the cloud that otherwise wouldn't have been there. What sort of performance benefits might you see from this approach though? What sort of
for a long time people have thought, well, when I move that application or even that Windows desktop into the data center, the performance isn't going to be very good.
Right.
And I think that's because people have been used to some of the legacy protocols out there that really were designed in a different time for a different type of application. So when we started Teradici and we developed our technology, our goal has always been deliver a user experience where the user cannot tell the difference between something hosted or something under the desk, running on a workstation under the desk. What we find when people move these applications to the cloud, it gets even better, because now you've got the high-speed storage, you've got the compute. The public cloud vendors have phenomenally fast networks inside the cloud. So most people, when they move this application to the cloud, not only is it as good as, hey, that running on that workstation under the desk, most people go, wow, this is so snappy, this is so fast, it actually works better than under the desk, right? And that's really what we try to drive to with our cloud access software.
Okay, and you've been talking about a sort of lift and shift platform where you move your application over as a package, really. But what if you're a developer? Can you do some can you use this as a developer?
Yep, and that's a good question as well. So while the product is really intended for again an enterprise or service provider to just take it and then go move these applications. We have had a lot of companies approach us who want to write software on top of our cloud access software. They maybe want to do some orchestration or add some features, and so we have a version called the Cloud Access Platform, where we can expose the APIs and we provide an SDK. So if you are a developer and you want to develop around our cloud access software, we give you a platform version.
So I think you were talking in the session that someone's built an orchestration layer on top.
That's right, that's right. Yeah, a company called Bebop Technology down in Southern California. Right. These guys are out of the studio industry for many years, and they've helped studios move in different technology generations and help them build their pipeline. And now most of the major studios and TV networks are really looking at how can I move my production flow into the public cloud, and Bebop is taking our cloud access software, as I said, wrote some orchestration software on top of it, and is taking it to the studios to give them a really quick way to migrate onto the public cloud.
So maybe you could expand a bit on that sort of opportunity side, and what sort of software we're talking about, really. I mean, you've talked about the production side.
Yeah, I mean, that's maybe a good opportunity to talk about our new relationship with Microsoft.
Okay.
And so the public cloud vendors are starting to bring GPUs into their instances.
Yep.
And this is driven by their customers saying, hey, I'm moving my server apps onto the cloud, but I've got some of these applications that are inherently big data applications. So you think about editing a television program or a newsreel or creating a major motion picture.
Right.
Cloud is an ideal opportunity for them because they can store those petabytes of data in the cloud. They've got the ability to access infinite compute. If you want to go render scenes in a movie, it's not dependent on how many servers you have in your location. You can just spin up hundreds or thousands of servers to render that scene very quickly.
Right.
But today, what's stranded is the rich application that the artist or the editor is using.
Right.
Maybe it's in video editing, it might be Abbott or Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
In special effects, it might be things like Autodesk Maya. And so now it's forcing them to have to move that data back down on site. Where it's now, and then back up. And so the idea where I could actually move Autodesk Maya into the cloud, let it run on these new instances that the cloud vendors are providing, and wow, now everything can be in the cloud. I solve a bunch of security issues. I can let my third parties and my contractors, who I don't necessarily feel comfortable about transferring those blockbuster scenes out to, and then I got to make sure they're locked down. And so, and that's playing out in a lot of industries. So whether it's the studios, a lot of the automotive companies are looking to do the same thing for CAD/CAM, oil and gas companies, healthcare around some of, radiology and things like that. And so, this is why Microsoft has introduced their new GPU instances.
Okay.
And
in Azure.
And on Azure, right? And so we're partnering with Microsoft to have our software on these Azure GPU instances and working with them and their customers to give them a great way to get onto Azure and deliver a fantastic user experience for these really high-end applications, which are going to be great consumers of the public cloud. It's big data, it's big compute, and
so all the public clouds are. I mean, I think they're all adding GPU resources behind the scenes.
Amazon has their G2 instances, and Microsoft has announced their GPU instances. We've also done some work with IBM SoftLayer. Right. They've had GPU instances for a while. Right. So
that's an interesting opportunity. Yeah. So so are you working with enterprises clearly as well? But are you working directly with ISVs to help them?
Yes, very much. Very much. We just, in fact, published a joint white paper with Autodesk.
Right.
And we spent quite a bit of time taking Autodesk Maya, the application, the effects application, and really benchmarking it over different types of networks, different sort of screen resolutions, frame rates, so that Autodesk could go to their customers and say, look, when you're looking to move to the cloud, we think this is a good technology, and here's what you can expect. And we've got similar efforts going on with other ISVs. And the other thing about the ISVs is they are also getting requests from their customers to say, hey, I'd really love to run this application on the public cloud, and of course getting interested as the GPU instances are showing up. And so they're coming to us really looking at how can Teradici help them work with them on our cloud access software to allow their customers an easier migration to the cloud. So yeah.
All right. Is this all available now?
It is in beta. It'll be generally available at the end of this month, so very soon. Yep.
Okay, and what sort of operating systems do you support?
So yeah, that's an important question. So we support the major Windows desktops, including Windows 7 and Windows 10. We also support the server instances of Windows because in some licensing models around service providers, that's a more attractive option. So we support Windows Server 2008 R2, as well as we will be supporting Windows Server 2016 when it GAs. Right. And then we just, part of our announcement yesterday on Cloud Access Software, we're super happy to announce that we now support Linux virtual machines.
Okay.
And so that's both Ubuntu and Red Hat Enterprise Linux.
Okay, right.
And that's both with GPU instances and without GPU instances. So we see a lot of customers wanting, they've got a lot of software developers. They'd like to move those instances into the cloud. Okay. And then again, for a lot of these high-end applications, people, some verticals like running their applications in a Linux virtual machine with a GPU. And the cloud vendors are supporting Linux on their virtual GPUs as well. So.
Okay. So meanwhile, your existing business carries on, but is this your strategic direction?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think the VDI and the DAS market are super important to us, and we're still doing a lot of effort there. That's a great market for us, but Teradici is really looking at this cloud transformation, this journey to the cloud. And going beyond just VDI and DAS and really into people's core applications and how to really offer them an alternative to maybe going cloud native, or also just being able to do it right away and with great security and user experience. So it's a very exciting time for us, for sure. Yeah.
Well, so you've been here at hosting Cloud Transformation Summit. Have you seen anything that sort of encouraged you in your
That's a good question. So the first time I've been here, and great to see all the different companies and speakers. I really enjoyed Michelle's presentation this morning. Right. You've obviously collected a lot of data from customers about and service providers about how people are trying to move to the cloud, how quickly they're moving to the cloud, what's important to them. So there was just a lot of rich data about how people are thinking about this, and sort of both the challenges, but also, what are they looking for in terms of this migration to the cloud? And a lot of it fit really well with what we see with individual customers and really where this software is targeted. So that was pretty exciting. Yeah.
Great, that's really good. There's a lot of service providers in here, and I think they'll be very interested in what you're talking about, actually. Yeah. So great. All right. Thanks very much for
thanks as well, John.
For coming along. And I don't think we probably didn't get all the questions that we might have asked, but we can certainly happy to address any offline that anyone likes to ask. And thanks very much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.